everybody!
Hello!
Welcome back to another episode of B Movie Bash!
B Movie Bash!
Ooh!
I like that one.
I'm Shannon.
I'm Alyssa.
And we have some good stuff going on today, don't we, Alyssa?
Yes. So today we're going to be talking about Amusement. It's rated R, 2008. Amazon says 2016 though, so I'm not sure.
What?
I don't know.
That's a very big difference.
Yeah.
2008 and 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, this one time I went to go watch a movie on Netflix, okay? Mm-hmm. And because I'd heard that it was a really good spooky movie, and I don't remember the name of it for the life of me, but I find the movie on Netflix, and it has the description of the same thing that it said that it was online.
Yeah.
So I click on it, I start watching the movie. There's this really weird, awkward sex scene right there at the very beginning.
Good.
And, like, the two lesbians, and the one was like, choke me, and the other one's like, no, I don't want to hurt you. And she's like, no, do it, choke me. And then she, like, gets mad and leaves. And I was like, okay. And then they go to start doing yoga, and, like, all this, like, I'm just sitting here, like,
when does the story
I was
start?
like, when does it start getting spooky? And, like, who are these people? I don't remember it being, And then I was like, hold on a second. So I Googled the name of the movie again. There is another movie with the exact same name.
Yeah.
That is the movie I was watching right there, but Netflix had taken the other description for that movie and put it on there. No. And so, yeah, I watched like 20 minutes of this movie and was like, what is happening? Like, when does it get good? It was just a drama. I don't even remember what it was called, but nice. I bet if I Googled enough of it, it would.
And like on IMDb, when you look up, what is it, The Caller, it comes up with Sweet Home Alabama, but like it's the movie, but with the title Sweet Home Alabama. I was like, what the hell is happening?
No idea.
Anyway.
Amusement has a 26% Rotten Tomatoes score, so this is gonna be fun. And I just have to say, like, this whole movie just doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, like the timing that this movie needed to have. Yeah. Okay, it's just okay.
We'll find out, I'm sure.
Yes.
Okay.
So the synopsis, I guess, is 3 women are stalked by a killer with a grudge that extends back to the girl's childhood. Okay. And you're like, all right, that's cool.
Yeah.
So then the movie starts off with opening credits of yearbook pictures and then a picture of a boy and his psychiatric evaluations. And it's just like flashing through all of these things. And it's just like, okay. Anyway. So then we are now taken to a car. The car is driving down the highway and it's going over 95 in a 65 zone, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So he's...
Danger.
Yeah. And the guy's driving and he keeps like looking down at the speed limit and then looking back, or like down at his like speedometer and looking back up at the road. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. What? Like, are you getting a thrill? Do you know you're not being safe?
Yeah, I don't know. Why? So his girlfriend, Shelby, who's in the passenger seat, wakes up. And she's like, where are we? And he's like, oh, we just drove past whatever place. And she's like, oh, okay. Wait, that wasn't that long ago. How long have I been asleep, And she looks down and she sees that he's going 90. And she
fast
starts,
as fuck.
Yeah. So she freaks out at him and is like, what are you doing? You need to slow down. Like, you are going way too fast on this road. And he's like, babe, I've got a good convoy going on here. And I just kept thinking, like, that's what you enjoy doing while you're driving?
What kind of bro man douche dude needs a convoy?
I know.
Like, what? I don't understand.
I was so confused.
Just like other drivers. Like, in this, going the same speed.
Yeah.
Let's
all
all
these other people
together.
going 90. And I was like,
why?
No, when I'm on the freeway, I want everyone to stay the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
Like, I avoid other cars as much as possible.
Yeah.
So, like,
if there's another car going the same speed as me and I can't pass them, I'm like, okay, I guess I have to go faster because I don't want to be anywhere near you.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
It's so annoying. I don't know. So he slows down and he lets the other cars drive on and he's a little upset. And she's like, I know we had a bad weekend, but let's just get home safely. No more bad luck. And I'm like, okay.
Do you want to expand on that?
No, she doesn't talk about it ever again.
Okay.
Nothing again.
We're moving on.
Yep.
All right.
And I was like, where are they going? Where are they coming from? What is happening?
They're going home. She said that. Yes. We know that much.
I guess.
That's it.
But he's like still kind of ignoring her and stuff, right? She's got her book that she's reading and he's still just like staring at the road like he should.
Yeah, because he's a driver.
Yeah.
Sure.
So she reaches her foot over across the car and starts like touching his face, like with her foot, like her socked foot. And
Tell me Why?
I don't know. And I'm like,
no.
It's the most awkward flirting of all time.
Hey, focus on the road and don't drive so fast and get us home safely. Let me stab you with my toes.
Yep. And she said, so I don't remember fully what she said, but she was just like, oh, little grumpy gills kind of a thing. And
gosh.
Anyway. So they get a little spooked because a big old diesel just like honking drives past them. I've never heard a diesel passing someone on the freeway honking at you.
Like the whole way.
Yeah. Like, and it was like, like it was so loud. And so.
Well, they have to be scary somehow.
It does somehow, because the rest of the movie wasn't. And so she's like, I just don't understand why you're like into convoys and stuff. And he's like, there's a skill to a good convoy, babe. As he's like getting behind this truck and like getting into a convoy with the truck and stuff, right? He's like, oh, it's like a conversation between us and the cars. As we drive, we communicate.
No.
Yeah,
I've literally like never thought about doing that in my life.
No.
I don't.
No. I mean, I've been in a couple of convoys unintentionally, but like, it's just cars driving at the same time in the same place. Yeah. At the same speed. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so the diesel gets off on an exit, and it says, there's a gas sign and stuff, and the boyfriend's like, well, we need gas anyway, so we might as well get off too. And she's like, we're gonna get off the freeway, and there's another car that's behind them that was kind of convoying with them and stuff. So they were like, well, I guess we can follow. Like, and she's like, what are we supposed to do? Like, talk to them? And he's like, kinda, like, maybe. I mean, if we have to, we do and stuff, but like, let's just go. And so she's like, okay. So they get off on the freeway. They're all getting some gas, and he goes in to get some drinks and stuff. And the other car pulls up behind or next to them, and this like super awkward, typical lame dad gets out of his car with a mustache and everything, and he comes up. And he's like, the truck driver's kind of big and bulky and scary like he always is,
Right.
And they're kind of all talking to each other as they walk inside. And Shelby looks over at the diesel, and she sees this girl in the back of the diesel, like staring out the window and like looks terrified.
Great.
Right?
Great.
Super spooky, right?
Love it.
So then she's like, what the hell and stuff? And she's like, boyfriend, because they all came back. And she's like, did you see that? Did you just see her? And he was like, what? No, I don't know what you're talking about. And she was like, there was someone in the back of the car. And he was like, no, there's no one there. Whatever. And the truck driver gets out of his truck again, and he tells them, he's like, so a buddy of mine says that there's like bumper to bumper traffic up on the freeway heading up. But I've got a map, and it'll take us around this other way so we can like bypass all of that.
No, thank you, Mr. Serial Killer, sir. No, anyway, thank you.
So they're like, okay, cool. Might as well, because might as well.
Yeah. Also, isn't it nighttime?
It's nighttime.
And why would there be bumper to bumper traffic?
I have no idea.
If you're traveling at night.
I don't know.
He's a liar.
I know, right? Anyway. So he's like, yeah, okay, let's all go this way. And the boyfriend is like, yeah, let's do that. And Shelby is like, I really don't want to. And he's like, yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be easy. And she's like, okay, I guess so. So they go with her, and they're driving down the road, again, down this like really spooky, like it really looks like a dirt road, but I can't remember entirely if it was a dirt road or not. But Shelby once again sees the girl like peek up in the back window, because it's a big diesel, but he doesn't have the bed of the diesel. It doesn't have like trailers. Yeah, it's just the truck, right? And she like slaps this paper up on the window, and then the paper like flutters out the window and smacks onto their car, and it says, "Help me."
Oh boy.
And then the back door of the cab bursts open, and she comes flying out and smashes into their windshield.
Oh, he got mad.
Yeah, so they slam on their brakes, and they all jump out and come running around, but the diesel keeps driving. Like, he just keeps, taking off.
Yeah.
So they get out, and they go over to check on the girl, and the mustache dad pulls up behind them as well, and he gets out, and he runs over, and he's checking on the girl, and he yells to the boyfriend, go after him, get his plates. Right?
No.
And so the boyfriend was like, okay.
I don't trust a man with a mustache.
Right?
Just
so the boyfriend freaking out, jumps back into his car, drives off after the guy in the mustache, or not the guy in the mustache, drives off after the truck driver, and is like speeding as fast as he can down this road, because the truck driver kept going, and they stopped for a good, like, I want to say 45 seconds. So like, and
he's got some catching up to do.
But he is like around the like every turn, and like
you're going to roll, and that will help nobody.
Going way too fast, right? And then the boyfriend stops at one point, because he does he comes kind of like, it's not a dead end, but he does not see the tails or the tail light of the truck anymore. And so he's like, what the hell? Like, where did he go? Kind of a thing. And then the truck driver blasts on his lights like he was waiting for him to come around the corner.
Because he had the time to do that. Okay.
And he's like dead stopped facing him now and starts charging his truck towards him. So he flips his car into reverse and starts driving backwards as fast as he can until he like skids it off the side of the road and the truck driver just blows past him. And so then he gets back onto the road and chases off after him.
Yeah.
But I mean, his car's stuck for a second, so it takes him a minute to get back onto it and stuff, right?
Of course. Can't have a successful car chase.
Yeah. And so he's driving like really, really fast. And there's also like this like, I guess, house in the distance or whatever. And it's like a farm field or some shit. Anyway, there's a random tractor out there.
Okay.
And he's driving so fast to get back to his girlfriend and to get back to all this, he drives his car into the tractor.
What?
Which is off on the side of the road. Like, he just loses control of the vehicle and drives off into the tractor.
You missed it on your way past the first time.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. So anyway. But he crashes into the tractor and then gets out of his car and stumbles over because the mustache guy's car is still there.
Right.
And the mustache guy is laying, like, face down on the ground. But Shelby and the other girl are gone.
Okay.
Right? And so he comes running up and he's like, where's my girlfriend? Where's my girlfriend? And the mustache guy is like, he took them. He came back and he took them. And he's like looking like he just totally got like the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah.
And where did he take him? He points to the farmhouse that's off in the distance right over there, right?
Where he just came from.
No, like the farmhouse was like on a different road. Like the mapping of this area makes no sense.
Okay.
No sense whatsoever. Anyway.
Okay. So he hit a random tractor over here.
Yeah.
And they're in a farmhouse over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
We'll
go with it.
I don't know. Okay. Anyway. So houses that rooms move into different places make more sense than most horror movie plot. Like,
well, we need a room over here, but we didn't build a room over here. Well, there's gonna be a room over here.
But anyway. So he's like, yeah, he took him to that house over there. And I was like, why would he not just keep driving?
Yeah.
So he's like, quick, get in my car and we'll drive over there. And so he hops in his car and they drive up to the house. And we see the truck driver inside the farmhouse. No one else is there. There's still power to the house. The truck driver's on the phone talking to someone. And he's like, no, I don't know where I am. No, I was taking her to rehab. I don't know. An accident. Maybe she jumped. Okay. Right? Because we can't hear what the other guy is saying. And he's like, bitch was crazy. So,
okay.
I don't know. But we see, so the boyfriend and the mustache guy pull up to the house, right? And the mustache guy is like, stay here in the car. I'm going to go inside. And he's like, what? And he's like, you're too injured from your, hitting the fucking tractor. So stay here and watch my kids. And he points to the back seat as you assume 2 children are sitting in the back seat with a blanket over them. Okay. And he's like, stay there, kids. And I'm like, I would not let a random guy stay with my children. No.
Also, I would not let a random guy go in after my girlfriend.
No. Exactly.
No. Like, you stay with the kids, I'll stay with my lady.
Yep.
Thank you, goodbye.
Thanks. Yep.
Thanks for your help.
You know
Gotta
what?
go.
You know what, sir? Maybe what you could do, maybe what you could perchance do. Yeah. Go drive back down the road to the gas station, call 911.
Go find some fucking help.
Please, 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 please.
Yeah.
Weird.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway. So the mustache guy gets out of the vehicle and finds an axe leaning up against the house. And so he picks up the axe and he's creeping up to the house and stuff, right? And the boyfriend is sitting in the car. I really wish I knew his name. I never wrote it down. But the boyfriend is still sitting in his car and he hears a UB radio going, or the
CB?
CB, thank you. Is that a C?
That might have been supposed to be in the C.
Anyway, so yeah, he's got this CB radio in his little console thing in the middle, yeah. And he's like, "What the fuck? Why would you have a CB radio in your car? You're just a dude, right?"
Nope.
And so then he hears the girls or the children or whatever
the assumed children
in the back seat.
Who had not struggled or done anything.
Yeah.
I assume they're not children at this point.
Yes. Sorry. So he hears them making more noises at this point. Okay. So he turns around and pulls the blanket off and sees that it's Shelby and the random fucking girl.
Shock.
Right?
Wow.
And then we see the mustache guy, because the truck driver hears something, and he steps out of the house just as the mustache guy swings the axe into him and kills him, right? And so you're like, oh, truck driver didn't do nothing wrong. Like,
except for whatever the hell happened with actual woman.
I don't know. And almost trying to run boyfriend over. Like, what?
That was on purpose.
Yeah.
For sure.
I don't know. Anyway, so boyfriend is freaking out for a second, and he's like, oh my gosh, no. And he looks over, and mustache guy is like, like, I can't even match his laugh, but he's laughing. Anyway, so he's laughing as he's like walking back down to the car and stuff, and he's panicking trying to find the keys, right? Like, he jumps into the driver's seat, and he's trying to find the keys to the car. As if he would
have left his damn keys.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
They're probably just under the visor, where everybody leaves their keys to their car.
I don't know. Right? And so, but then he looks up right then, and mustache guy is standing at the window.
Yeah.
And he's holding up his keys, dangling them, like, I have them, right? And the boyfriend is like, motherfucker. And, okay, to me, this makes no sense, okay? Unless this is a stolen vehicle, okay. This is his car, okay? That you most like, right?
Man's car.
Mustache man's car. We're assuming it's his car. It could be stolen, but I'm going to assume it's his vehicle, okay? That he pays insurance on.
Okay.
Okay. That he, has to pay monthly.
Right.
Right?
Unless it's his car that he owns and he pays money for.
Unless it's stolen, right?
Okay.
And I'm assuming it's not stolen. It could be, but I'm assuming it's not.
Okay.
He breaks his own window.
Ow.
With the axe, just smashes in the driver's side window to grab at the boyfriend.
Sure.
Okay.
Because opening the doors.
Because he has the keys.
Too hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Too much effort.
Yep.
Breaking a window with an axe is much better.
Much better.
Okay.
Yes. And grabs the boyfriend, like through the window, and is like, you picked the wrong convoy, buddy. And so, to me, this made, like, when I was first watching it, I was like, oh, okay, so this is just random, and you're just some crazy guy.
Fucking crazy loony.
That all of this other things happen to, like, work out perfectly.
Yeah.
The
crazy random happenstance.
Yeah. Sure. All of this is just, you just happen to be a crazy murderer that, like, all of this fell into your lap perfectly.
Okay, but apparently it's not supposed to be, based on that tone.
Anyway, so the scene fades. Well, with the creepy guy's laughter and stuff. The
How
scene
do you
fades.
plan that?
I don't know.
Okay, sorry.
I don't
scene
know.
Fades. Sorry.
Like, none of it makes sense to me. This whole movie is, like, solely based on, like, there's some of it is planned, some of it's planning, I get that. Some of it is taking the time to be like, okay, I've been watching them for like 4 months, I've been tapping their phones, I've been listening to everything they're doing, and I know they're gonna be here at this time and doing this.
Sure.
So I can show up and be there to do this time.
They shop at Trader Joe's every Thursday at 4.
Yeah.
Sure.
I can do something like that. Not, well, I guess they're coming home like from a bad weekend, and I just so happen to know he likes getting into convoys, and I just so happen to know that this truck driver also has a crazy lady in his vehicle that does not want to go to rehab.
Yeah.
No, none of that makes sense to me.
No.
I don't know.
You're not the only one.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's insane. So the scene fades to a sunny day, and Tabitha is pulled up to this really gorgeous, fantastically beautiful house, and is pulling out her luggage from the trunk of her car, right?
Okay.
Just a bag and stuff. And she goes walking up to the house, and she goes to knock on the door, but the door is like already open.
Ooh,
right? So it like
ajar.
Yes. So it's slightly ajar. And so she swings it open, and she's like, Hello? Hello?
Is this her own house?
No, it is her aunt's house, because right then her 2 little nephews come running around the corner, and they're like, Aunt Tabby, and she's like, hi guys, where's the babysitter? And they're just kind of like, hee, and run away.
Okay.
And
we murdered her.
And I don't. Anyway, so they're watching TV, and she's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go put my stuff away and look for the babysitter.
Yeah.
And the 2 boys, listen, I understand children. I don't understand children.
I was just gonna say, do you?
But I've seen children. I babysat plenty of times.
You've been
I'm an
around
aunt.
them.
Yeah,
sure.
I'm an aunt. I'm a godmother. I've been around children.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
I have never in my life ever seen a child giggle to one another and then just start bouncing on the couch. just bouncing in their seat.
I was gonna say I have, but I think it's just been in movies, actually.
And I'm like...
But kids are weird.
Children are very weird. And I get it, like, if they get up and start running around the room and, like, causing havoc and stuff. But no, they're still watching the TV, just bouncing. And I'm just like...
They have a lot of energy, okay?
They have to do something. Anyway, coming from someone with ADD, like...
I was going to make an Adderall joke, but then I didn't. But there it is.
There it is, right? Anyway, so they're bouncing on the couch. Just bounce. Just their butts. Just... Like, not even getting up and bouncing, like, up and down on their feet.
Just bouncing on the cushions while they're seated.
It was just such awkward movement. And, like, talking about it too long. Anyway. So, Tabitha starts going upstairs, and she hears a noise. She's calling out for the sitter, thinking the sitter must be upstairs or something. Yeah. Probably just didn't realize that the door was open.
She went
and, like,
to the bathroom.
Something.
Sure.
Yeah, right? And so, but she sees no one. So she puts the bags that she has down on a bed, and she puts the boys to bed after a little bit. It, like, does a big time skip and stuff. And now it's dark, and so it's, like, nighttime. So she's putting the boys to bed. Or I think she just tells them to go get ready for bed because she's making herself a sandwich. And I had the weirdest, what is it called? Where you think it's one thing, but it's actually, like where you think the Monopoly guy has a monocle, but he doesn't.
Mandela effect.
Yeah, it was a Mandela effect, and I distinctly remember watching this movie originally, and she used a huge fucking kitchen knife to make herself a sandwich, okay? But she didn't when I watched it the last time, and I was like...
So what were you projecting onto this movie?
I have no fucking clue, but I distinctly remember thinking, how weird is that she's using this gigantic knife to smear, like, mayonnaise, and, like... Anyway, though, but she had gone in the fridge and she pulled out some food. And I don't know if it's just that the aunt was like, here's the food I'm allowing you to have.
You're here, so here.
Here's this food. But, like, she pulls out a plate, a plate with sliced cheese and sliced meat already on it.
I prepared you some sandwich... What?
Yeah. Not even, like, little containers.
Right.
Not, like... And I'm like... I just thought it was a really weird... way that
here's your allotted cheese slices.
I guess it could have been like, oh, well, I already had stuff made from a sandwich I made earlier. You can have that in the fridge. It's already kind of like set up or something. Like,
no one does that, though.
Nobody does. I don't take my meat and put it back in the fridge. It's gonna get dry.
Yeah.
You gotta, like, put it
in the first place, unless you're having a sandwich party.
Yeah.
Who is like, let me put out 8 slices of cheese on a plate? Nobody.
It was just weird. It was just...
Movies are dumb.
I know. This one has just, like, some of the weirdest little...
Like, quirky, dumb things.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay. Anyway, so she's sitting there, and she's trying to do her homework, and the doorbell rings. And she's like...
Nope.
Okay. So she gets up, and somehow it started raining. Like, full-blown pouring.
Of course.
Okay? Right.
The heavens opened up, and here we are.
And so she turns on the light, and she looks out the door, and there's some guy in a poncho, but you can't see his face. He's got the poncho, like, well up over his head.
Nope.
And he turns, and he's like, I'm here for June. And she's the babysitter. And she's like, she's not here.
Did she open the door?
Yeah, she opened the door to talk to him, right?
No.
And he's like, well, I'm here for June. And she's like, she wasn't here when I got here. She just took off. And he's like, she was gone? And she was like, yeah, she wasn't here when I got here. And I'm going to be telling my aunt about that. And he was like, okay, well, she's not home either. Like, where do you think she could have gone? And she's like, I don't know. Maybe with some of her friends or something. And he's like, none of them have said they've seen her. And she's like, I don't know, dude.
Oh, buddy. Sorry.
I don't know, right? And he's like, well, don't you think that's weird? And she's like, I don't know, maybe. Okay, bye. And
I don't know her. I don't know you. Get out of my house.
So she goes upstairs to put the boys, like, officially to bed, I guess. But she hears a noise in this one room. And so she opens the door, and it is a fucking clown room.
No.
Okay?
No.
Just floor to ceiling clowns.
Who?
Just
absolutely not.
Everywhere.
Why?
Everywhere clowns.
Who?
Okay? And my thing is that she is very like, what the fuck?
So she didn't know that was in her aunt's house?
I know. I'm like, how
you never opened that door?
I know. Here's my thing. I have lots of family, okay? And I love my family. And I know I am welcome at their house, okay? Yeah. However, if I did not know that they had a clown room in their house, I would not have felt comfortable enough to make myself a sandwich from their fridge.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Right? Like, does that...
Yeah.
You know?
And also, if there was, like, an off-limits room, you would have known about it.
Yeah.
Or...
Been like, oh, yeah, I just know not to go in that room.
Yeah.
Like,
or, like, if you don't know there's a clown room, you probably shouldn't feel comfortable enough to be poking around in other rooms.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, but this is the room that she is apparently supposed to be sleeping in tonight.
No.
Yeah.
I'll be on the couch. Thank you very much.
Yep. So
I'll be on the floor between the boys' beds. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait. Was she? She was in this room. Anyway, so...
It's in the house, and that's what matters.
It's in the house, yeah.
Don't do that.
As she came in, I guess there was this one clown that is, like, motion activated or some shit, and she moves past it, and it just, like it's, I think it's supposed to be like one of those Halloween kind of decorations that, like, if you walk past it and it drops, like those spiders that just start, like, making, you know. Yeah. So it drops and just starts, like, cackling at her wickedly. And she's like, oh my gosh. Ugh. And then she hears the boys laughing and, like, she's like, okay, I'm coming, guys. Like,
so
whatever.
Funny, huh?
But there's even this, like, life-size clown sitting in a rocking chair with an accordion.
Fuck.
And it's like...
No. Bye.
Right? And
I'm out. Gotta go.
It's stupid.
It's
anyway.
been a fun podcast. Gotta go.
Yep. And I'm just like, this has to be years of collecting. Mm-hmm. Years of collecting. And you didn't know it was there? Like, you didn't know this house, like, this room was there?
Maybe she hasn't been there for a while.
I don't know. Anyway, so...
Auntie just went nuts at the clown store one day.
Right. Anyway... Now Tabitha decides to go back downstairs and lock all the doors and the windows and stuff, walking around with her little wine glass and stuff, locking all the doors and the windows and stuff because she's an adult, I guess. And so
okay,
I just thought it was really stupid. I was like, I love when they try to be like, oh yeah, they're older than 21 because they're drinking wine. Yeah. And I'm like,
they're adults.
Yeah. And I'm like, because you know they're a teenager drinking because they're drinking beer. Like,
true. True.
But as an adult, you're drinking wine. So anyway, so she keeps hearing sounds from the other rooms because she eventually goes upstairs to put the boys to bed, like officially put them to bed. And she keeps hearing noises and the boys just kind of keep giggling about it. Like, but they're not saying anything.
Right.
So they just like
they're
don't
really
want to
not
like
helpful.
They're not
How
helpful.
old are these boys? I shouldn't ask you that. I'm sorry.
Shorter than my shoulder? Like,
okay. So less than 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. For anyone, I am so bad with children's ages. If you're not holding them in your arms, I can't tell you how old they are.
I don't know if they were 3 or 7.
Yeah,
Who knows?
I cannot tell you. I just know heights, and that's it. Okay. But that means nothing because really I'm short.
Yeah.
So, and I met a 5th grader who was taller than me, so that's fun.
My 3-year-old is already like more than half my height.
I know. So. When every time I think he's 3, I'm like, no, he's like 5.
He's got to be like 8.
Yeah, like he's getting there. Like. He's so cute. I freaking love your kid. Anyway, so, yeah, okay, she was sleeping in the clown room. Anyway, so she puts the boys to bed and is like, okay, guys, good night. I'm going to go to bed now. And so she goes back into the clown room to get changed. And it just, like, focuses in on the clown in the chair for way too long.
I thought you were going to say, like, boobs.
No. And, I mean, it shows her, like, in her undies, but that's about it. She, like, gets her out of her jeans and stuff, right? But surprisingly, they didn't actually really worry about that too much. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of focusing on that. So,
yeah. Just the clowns.
Just the clowns, yeah.
Okay.
So, it just, like, zooms in on the clown, in the rocking chair, and I was just like, okay, well, could you be any more obvious in this moment?
Right. It's like in old cartoons where there's like a piece of the wall that's going to break away and they're like, we're going to change the color of this piece of the wall and they'll never know that something's going to happen. Thanks. Sorry.
You're
fine. That was a weird analogy, but...
No, every time I'm playing a video game, you see something, you're like,
that's not supposed to be there.
That's not... And then one time I was playing and I was like, why won't this blow up? Why won't this go anywhere? And it was just part of the wall. And I was like, you can't do that to me. Years of training have brought me to this point. You can't do that to me. Anyway.
So anyway, something about the clown.
Yeah.
Exciting.
So I just keep zooming in on the clown and stuff. And anyways, but she hears the clown make like a little like noise, right? And so she turns around and looks at it and it's just still kind of sitting there, right?
Like
so she walks over and she pushes it, right? And it just rocks back and forth. So she's like there and she like kind of touches it, but then thunder crashes and she's like, oh my gosh, okay, you're being silly.
Out.
Calm down, go back, just go to bed.
Just go have some clown nightmares, it's fine.
Yeah. Oh, but then the TV also turns on. And so she kind of freaks out for a second and she's like, what the heck? And then she looks over and she sees that the clock is blinking too. So she's like, oh, there must have been a power surge, like, and not enough to make the lights flash, but like, the clock reset itself. So she goes to bed and as she's laying there, the clown head turns to look at her.
Oh, no,
right?
No.
And she's like, or she doesn't see it, but she's kind of laying there. She's getting ready for bed and then the phone rings. So she's like, oh my gosh. Okay. So she gets up And she goes over to answer the phone that is, like, in the hallway.
This must be 2008, then.
Oh, yeah. It was on a... like, it had the longest fucking cord I've ever seen.
Yeah. 2016, my ass.
Right. So it's her aunt, and she's checking in on the kids. And Tabitha's like, oh, yeah, I love your new house. Which, okay, I get it. It's a new house.
Okay.
However...
Were, like, all the clowns in a weird side basement room before?
Yeah.
Or, like, why are they the guest room now?
Yeah, I just...
Because fuck that.
I don't know,
Auntie.
right? Anyway, she's like, yeah, I love your new house, but your clown room... And she's like, oh, I know. Which one is it this time? You know, because apparently a lot of people know about this clown room.
I guess.
And think that some of her clowns are really creepy. And she's like, the big one scares me. And she's like... What one? And she's like, the really big one.
Don't do this to me.
And the aunt is like, what really big one? And she's like, the really big one sitting in the rocking chair. And the aunt is like, fuck, we don't have one sitting in a rocking chair.
Goodbye.
And she turns to look.
911. Hello.
And as she's on the phone with her aunt, we see the clown starting to sit up, like get up out of the chair.
Okay.
And she turns to look at it to be like, yeah, the one sitting in the chair with the accordion, and it's gone. And she drops the phone and just kind of quietly backs up into the boys' room, right? Yeah. Because obviously she doesn't, Yeah. And the aunt is on the other line like, hello? Tabitha? Like, yeah. I would have immediately called 911. I would have hung up, called 911.
Cops, go to my house now.
Yep. So she wakes up the boys, and she's like, boys, get up. Don't be afraid, but we need to get out of the house, kind of a thing. And they're like...
They're on the second story, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And the boys are like, don't be afraid. He just wants to play.
Fucking you knew?
Yeah. And she was like, what? And the one boy, or the one of the boys was like earlier at the door.
Excuse me?
Yeah, which means that he was the guy looking for the babysitter.
Guy. What?
Yeah.
How?
I don't know.
What?
I don't know. Specifically because he was there at the door, which means he had to bolt upstairs.
Yeah.
Like bolt somehow. Unnoticed.
Wet.
Yeah. Into the room to sit in the chair.
Is he a ghost? What the fuck?
I don't know. So like it's like a full clown suit though, like it's just so bad.
I mean, yeah, it was obviously convincing enough.
Apparently.
I thought she was a doll.
Yep.
He was a doll.
Anyway,
okay.
So the boys get up and they go get the door. They're like, no, it's fine. It's okay. He's just wanting to play with you. That's what he basically told us, kind of a thing.
No.
And they go over to get, like, the door, and these, like, 3-pronged, like, sharp...
Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, like, things come blasting in through the door. The boys start screaming, and she freaks out, and she runs over, and she shoves this wardrobe. I remembered the name of it.
Wow.
Wardrobe in front of the door. And she's, like, getting the boys to, like, go to the window now, right? So she gets them out the window and, like, gets them to drop down onto the ground. So he's trying to break through the door and stuff, right? And, like, shoving... Or he gets through the door, but the wardrobe's still there. Okay. So he's, like, shoving the drawers out because it's, like, a wardrobe on one side and drawers on the other. Yeah. Like, so he's shoving the drawers out so we can see the clown guy trying to get through to her. And instead of going out the window, she runs around to the side of the wardrobe with a lamp. Right?
Okay, so when he gets through. Sure.
Yeah, so when he gets through, he, like, is looking around and stuff, and he goes to go to the window to, like, see that she was out there, and she comes up and clocks him real hard with his lamp.
Smart.
And, like...
Because if he was smart, he would have just gone downstairs and outside.
Yeah.
But, you know. Okay.
So she's yelling for the boys to go get help and stuff, and I'm assuming they're running to the neighbors to go get help. And so he's on the ground, like, really disoriented, and she jumps out the window, or, like, she gets onto the window ledge and is, like, trying to lower herself down, and he gets up and he, like, slams the 3-pronged thing. It's a very impractical weapon, is all I'm saying.
I mean, Freddy doesn't think so.
But his is, like, on his hands, and he can, like, do other things. This is just, like, 3 prongs that you have to, like, hold, like, it does... So he, like, slams it down onto the windowsill, and she, like, falls backwards and hits the ground, and she's just kind of like, oh, motherfucker, and so she gets up and runs, instead of to a neighbor, runs into the shed in the backyard, because...
No. Dial M for murder.
Right?
Why?
I don't know. So she runs into the shed, and she slams the door shut, and right then, the dead babysitter's body falls on top of her, and she's screaming and freaking out, and then you hear the clown standing outside the door with his laughter that I can't even match it. It's so bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it fades to black, and we then see her, like, the light flashes on really quick, and she looks very bad. Like, she looks like she's, like, covered in, you know.
Yeah.
She was soaking wet. The sweater she was wearing is all torn and stuff. Like, she looks like she's been through hell. And she's sitting in a really weird room with, like, cement walls and stuff, with an FBI agent, like, taking the lamp and, like, shoving it in her face, and is, like, asking her all these questions, like, do you have any idea who would want to hurt you? And she's like, she's very traumatized from this, right? She's sitting there just kind of, like, playing with her hair, just, like, get the light out of my face kind of a look,
you're
you
not
know?
interrogating her.
And he's interrogating
You're questioning her, you asshole.
Yeah, like, he is very much interrogating
Aggressive.
her. And so she kind of starts remembering, I don't know why now she starts remembering it, but she does. Now she starts remembering it.
Right.
When she and her friends were children, and they had this thing at school where you were supposed to make a diorama inside of a shoebox, right? Okay. And then, like, cut a hole in it so that you could see into the diorama from the one side and just kind of, like, look around in it, okay? And it's Shelby, Tabitha, and Lisa. We haven't met Lisa yet, but we'll meet Lisa. And let's see, Tabitha's is a circus, Shelby's is a farm, and Lisa's is a sleepover.
Foreshadowing?
Yes.
Also post-shadowing?
Yeah. And I felt like this was a really weird place to put it.
Yeah.
Like,
especially where you haven't even met the third person yet.
I don't...
Okay.
Anyway. And a little boy comes up to, like, or he's, you know, one of their classmates and stuff comes up, and he's like, let me see your guys' boxes. And so they hand over their boxes to show him. And he's like, these are all boring. These are so dumb, you know.
No, the circus.
Right? And so they were like, well, let's see your box then. So they hand him this box, or he hands over this box, and it's like, theirs is all pink and glittery and fun things, right? And his is just this, like, gray box he hands over. And they look inside. One of them looks inside, and she's just like, and he's like, it's funny, right?
Oh no.
And she's like, what? And so then she hands over the box to Tabitha, and she looks inside.
Hey, oh no, friend, this awful thing.
All the girls look at it, but they get all freaked out. They run away. Okay. And so he looks back into the box, and we see that it is this mouse strung up with its arms and its legs, like, you know, pulled apart kind of a thing. And its, like, stomach has been cut open, and its inside muscles have been pulled off to the side. So it's, like, revealing all of its guts and everything, like, still in there.
And then the teacher immediately referred him to the therapist.
Yes.
Because what?
Yep. And he's just laughing, and the poor little mouse is, like, screeching in pain. And I was just like, oh my gosh, right? But, like, the whole time Shelby's watching this, or not Shelby, Tabitha's watching this or remembering it or whatever, she's, like, playing with her hair and, like, shaking her head and, like, no,
don't remember this.
Oh no. Like, just the look on her face, I was like, anyway. So she looks back up because someone else enters the room, and it's some woman, and she says that she's a trauma counselor, and she asks if she knows a girl named Lisa. Oh, right. And the scene changes to a club, and Lisa is there, and her roommate are there, and they're both drinking together, and Lisa tries to get her roommate to go home with some guy, right? Because she has a boyfriend and stuff, and the roommate doesn't have a boyfriend. And she's like, yeah, look at that guy. He's so handsome.
How do people do that? Him. I don't understand.
I have no idea. I met my husband in a parking lot. Like, I don't meet people like...
That sounds weird.
It's kind of weird, but... It's a whole story. He worked at the grocery store, so, like, that's...
Maybe say, well, he was at work, not
he was at work.
In a parking lot.
But it's funny in a parking lot.
It's kind of weird.
It is a little weird.
In this context?
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
In a horror movie context.
But yeah, I don't get how people go to clubs and are like, I'm going to go home with this stranger.
Yeah.
Like, no, thank you.
No, never.
I'm good.
No.
Date rape? No thanks.
Right? So, but the girl is like, it's roommate night. We can't. No, we gotta have roommate night. And, like, Lisa is like, well, at least let him drive you home. Kind of a thing. Like, go, you know, like, go get his number or something, right? She finally convinces her friend to go over and talk to the guy. And she's like, I'll just get a ride home with my boyfriend. It's fine. I'll see you when we get home. We'll watch movies and hang out and stuff, right? So she calls her boyfriend, and she's like, hey, I need a ride home. And he's like, all right, I'll come get you and take you home. Good boyfriend. Mm-hmm. And he goes, picks her up, takes her home, and she gets back to the apartment, and the roommate's not there.
Why wouldn't you stay to make sure, like, nothing bad happened?
I don't know. Like, it's 2008.
And?
I don't know.
I don't know. Like, also, the concept of just get his number and have him drive you home. is a weird concept.
It's a weird concept.
You're like, hey, boy, I don't know.
Yeah.
You're not getting anything,
yeah.
but yeah. Like, drop me off so I can watch movies with my roommate.
I know. I'm like, it's different if you walk up and you're like, hey, cute guy, here's my number. Call me sometime.
Yeah,
like,
that's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But
just drive me home and nothing else.
Yep.
You get nothing out of this.
Yep.
Give me your gas money.
I don't even know. And the worst thing, too, is that, like, the roommate, I forgot what her face looked like very, very quickly. We see her later on in the movie, and she was like, oh my gosh, it's the roommate. And I was like, is it? Like, I don't remember. She like, because we only see her in this scene, like.
In the club in the dark.
Yeah. And I was like.
That's probably why they were like, oh, it's roommate again.
Yeah.
They have to make sure you know.
Exactly. Because I was like, and also, things were going on that I was like, okay, how can you tell? How can you tell? Like, I think I could tell it was you because you and I have been friends for a billion years. Yeah. So, like, but. Anyway, so she gets home and the roommate's not there, and so she's like, oh, things must have gone really well with that guy. I would have been like, oh, she's dead. Anyway.
Yeah, that would be like literally negative is my first thought.
Right.
Just the worst case possible.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. So she calls her boyfriend back and she was like, hey, she's gone. You can come back. Like,
screw roommate.
Yeah. Right? I was like, so the boyfriend comes back. They spend the night together. The next morning she gets up and she goes to go, like, check on her roommate to see if the roommate had come home super late or whatever. And she's still not in her room. And so she's like, wow, like.
Must have gone really well.
Must have gone really well, right? But that's also really not like her because, like, she just doesn't do this. Like, she apparently at one point was like, no, I'm just a celibate person kind of a thing.
So good job pushing her into that, you asshole friend.
Anyway, and she, for some reason, she knew where the guy was staying.
This guy they didn't know?
I just...
And that she didn't talk to at all? It
was this, like, conversation that, like, kind of happened that, like, the roommate was like, yeah, he's staying over at this one place, and, like, I'm gonna go get a ride home from him, and it was really stupid.
Okay.
It just didn't make a lot of sense. Anyway, but it's this, like, really crappy and spooky hotel? B&B? I have no idea. It's just, like, this building that's out in the middle of fucking nowhere in this busy city that... I'm assuming at one point it was probably, like, a really nice house that people actually lived in, but now it's not because it's old
and not taken care of.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it looks like a really old manor, and it's called, like, the Percy Pension or something. So she goes there, like, she gets her boyfriend to come with her, like, take her over there, and she is ringing the bell on the outside of the place, okay? Mm-hmm. Like, the bell is outside. Like, you pull a string, and the bell
like
outside.
Like a dinner bell. Like a bell.
Yeah. It's outside. Just starts ringing.
So it's... Okay.
So it's not inside the house.
I mean, I guess you'd hear it.
Eventually.
Yeah. I mean, is it loud enough that, like, it works?
It sounds like a bell. Just like you're ding, 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 like a bell. Like, it's just...
That is a very strange setup.
It just... So then this peephole opens up.
Good.
And this guy looking at her through magnifying glasses.
What?
Okay. And the thing to me that, like, doesn't make sense is that the disguises make no sense.
Okay, good.
For the fact that... Okay, because I told you the synopsis is this guy is, like, trying
stalking them.
Is stalking them. They don't know what he looks like as an adult. And he is like, I guess I better put on some disguises. Like...
True. Like, once you get them, you don't need to worry about... Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Maybe he just likes being creative.
I guess. Anyway, so he's, like, looking through these magnifying glasses to her, and he's like, sorry, all the beds are full, and just, like, shuts the peephole. And she's like, I'm trying to call see if my friend's here, and he just, like, ignores her. And she's like, what the hell? So she calls her boyfriend, because he works for the health department.
Okay.
And is like, I think you can get me inside, kind of a thing. And he's like, I'm not supposed to use that for, like...
Yeah.
To get inside places and whatever. Anyway, so he reluctantly agrees to get her inside. And, like, this part makes even less sense. So he agrees and he gets inside, and the creepy caretaker is dressed head to foot in, like, mad scientist garb. Okay. Head to foot in mad scientist garb. And he, like, so the boyfriend gets inside and he leads him around into the house. And there's a lot of, like, antique-y things in there. It's kind of cool. Like, I would love to go on a haunted tour of this place kind of a thing. But it's just really kind of gross. And the boyfriend is like, I need to shut this place down kind of a look, you know?
Because he's like, it's a good thing I'm here.
Yeah, this is really gross, right? And he sees this old, like, megaphone-looking like, it looks like a
phonograph?
Yeah, but it's not a phonograph. It's a metal scope Victrola. Okay. And it's basically like but it's like, it's bigger and stuff. Anyway, and he says it plays a song, and at the end you get a surprise. And like, it's sitting on this big bass, and I'm assuming it's what like normally a kind of a cuckoo clock is supposed to do, like something pops out at the end, like, so
don't like that in these circumstances.
He starts cranking it, right? And the boyfriend is listening to the song, and he's like, oh wow, okay, this is cool, and he's kind of listening, and then he looks up at like the megaphone where like the music is coming out of, and a dart shoots out into his eyeball and kills him.
How?
I don't know.
What?
I don't know. It would have made more sense if at the base something shot out.
Yeah, it's like, here's a knife.
Yeah.
But yeah, through the curved phonograph thing.
Yep.
Projector. Speaker.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. It's really stupid.
I love this movie.
So Lisa's outside waiting for hours for him to come out, and he doesn't come out. Like, she's staring at the front door.
Wait, hours?
Hours.
Wouldn't you knock on the door after like an hour? Tops?
So she's out there.
Do you love your boyfriend?
I know, right? It's starting to get dark and everything too, and so she goes up and decides to like sneak inside, right? And she's like very obvious about it. Anyway, but there's also these like glass bottles sitting on the steps that lead up to the door, and she knocks one of them over and it breaks. Okay. So she freaks out and like goes running down the steps, and it also has like 2 staircase entry to the door. Like, it's anyway
fancy.
So she runs and hides underneath the staircase, and the dude in the full-blown mad scientist garb steps outside and looks around and doesn't see anything, but he goes down the steps to look at the glass bottles that have been broken. So she runs up the other side of the steps into the house, okay? Because he left the door wide open.
Right.
And so she sneaks inside and rushes up some stairs, and she finds a room with metal beds, like the old hospital-style metal beds.
Nah.
Like, an orphanage would have these kind of style beds.
For me, dog. No.
And like, it's... So she's getting in there, and she sees that there's this man on the other like side of the room sitting on the bed. Okay. And so she comes up to him and is like, excuse me, I'm like looking for my friend and stuff. And he tells her in very bad sign language that he's deaf and can read her lips though. So she just needs to look at him while he's talking. And I want to know why he played this character, because he was very like... Anyway, he also shows her that he had like brain surgery, so he's got like a scar on his head and stuff, and it's just anyway, it's really bad.
It's not important at all.
He just
really likes cosplay.
He really does. But the thing again that doesn't make sense to me is she literally runs inside, goes up some stairs, finds this room.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So again,
so it just so happened to be an important room, I'm guessing.
Yes. Okay. For as many rooms as there's got to be in this place, right? She finds this place.
Wait, he was just on the porch.
Yes.
She ran behind him.
Yep.
Up the stairs.
Yes.
Into the house.
Yes.
Up the stairs.
Yes.
And he was in the room.
But looks completely different. Right. Like, he's got all this other... So I don't know if he had an accomplice that he didn't have, because...
Okay.
Like, it would have made a lot more sense if they showed her, like, trying doors and stuff and, like, looking around corners and, like, or hearing him come in so she hides behind something. No, none of that happens. So unless there's some deleted scenes that I haven't seen, the timeline of this movie doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
No. Also, backing up, I know she's, like, looking for someone, obviously. But if I was in what I presumed to be, like, a hostel Airbnb situation.
Yes.
And I opened a door, and there was a person there that wasn't my boyfriend.
Yep.
I would immediately close the door.
Yep.
And go another way.
But she was looking for her boyfriend.
Had to talk to the person.
Yes.
Sure.
So she asks him, like, my favorite thing, too, is that he tells her, I can read lips.
Yeah.
So talk to me. Her lips barely move while she's talking to him. Like, she's like, okay, well, I'm looking for my friend and my boyfriend. And I was like, bitch.
He just told you he was deaf. Like, he's lying, but still.
Like, anyway. So they hear the classic, like, the Wilhelm, scream, like, that they have and everything. And the deaf guy, tries to sign to her, But, like, me learning sign language, I don't think that's correct. And for the sheer fact that if he learned sign language just to talk like this,
he was like, I'm gonna use this one day.
This kid really should have put his effort into other things. So he tells her that she needs to hide on one of the beds, right? So she lays down on the bed and he covers her in a sheet, and she's laying there, like, trying really hard to be quiet, and a face next to her pushes up through the fabric of the bed.
No.
And I would have immediately known that I was laying on top of somebody.
Well,
if it's thin enough that, like, your face can come up, like, kind of, like, press up against the fabric, like,
yeah,
I would have thought that I was, like, this is very uncomfortable.
Very lumpy, yeah.
Yeah. Or for the fact that, like, the second you lay down and you don't hear, ooh! Like,
yeah. As you put all your weight on him. Okay.
Yep. Anyway, yep. So she freaks out and she pulls it away and she sees that it is her roommate. And she's like, Cat! Oh my gosh, that's the roommate's name. And I was like, what? Her, like, mouth is sewn together and stuff. And it's, yeah. So she's freaking out and she starts pulling back sheets on the other beds. And she sees that there's a bunch of, like, dead, mummified bodies in the beds. And, like, all of these have been here for a very long time.
Well, he's
like,
been crazy for a
very
long time.
So either he's been doing this for a while and just killing bodies and putting them in here, like, while he's plotting his revenge against these girls because everything has to be meticulously planned.
Well, and, like, the roommate happened to go for the guy who was staying in his place, and they just so happened to be in that club, and she just so happened to tell her to go after him, and what?
I don't know.
And lure them there because she never came home, and a lot of this relies on a lot of
coincidence.
Shit.
Yeah. So, anyway.
He's just been waiting around, like, with 18 different plots in his head, like, one of these is gonna work one of these days.
It's gotta be something,
they're gonna happen upon me. One way or another.
Yeah, but they're like, anyway, so like the bodies are like sewn into the beds. And so Lisa freaks out and she's trying to get the deaf guy to come and help her again. And so he runs over and is like kind of helping. But then she looks down and she sees that there's blood on his boots. And is like, oh, he's the killer. Like, you know.
This is not right.
He starts laughing, right? Obviously.
Doing the laugh.
And I don't know. It somehow catches her because we now see her laying in the bed with him like stitching the bed closed, but we see it from like her point of view of him closing the bed on top of it and laughing. And I'm like, you keep cutting out things that I feel like are important. Like, how did he, first of all, get her onto the bed? Like,
well, and like, okay, so like, are they like, I think I first pictured them like inside the mattress.
They are inside the mattress.
Oh.
But they are the mattress. Like, it's their bodies are the mattresses.
Ew, okay. Yikes.
Yeah.
How does she... Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
Keep going.
I don't know.
I have too many questions and no questions at all at the same time.
Anyway, so then we flash back to Tabitha, who's sitting where the counselor and stuff, and the counselor's interrogating her and is like, do you know Shelby too? And Tabitha explains that they all used to be very close as kids and that they haven't spoken in years since Briar Hills, which was they're like in a different,
like an outskirts town kind of thing.
And which is their like hometown and stuff. But the therapist is like, what was that? Wait, what? What, this place? What do you mean? Like, kind of like, she's putting two and two together kind of a thing. And Tabitha's like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? And I'm very confused as to what's happening. And I just...
Why do we all know something that no one else knows?
Anyway, but then the therapist, who goes against all fucking confidentiality, goes, well, I used to have a young boy from that area a few years ago, and as a patient, and he had the most distinctive laugh.
I mean, she didn't say his name.
She didn't.
So,
but
technically, she really shouldn't have done that, but still.
She shouldn't have, But she's like, stay here. I'm going to go find a phone. So she gets up to go find a phone, and that she'll be back for her and her friends. And Tabitha's like, they're here? My friends are here? Like, what are you going,
Yeah.
And she's like, well, yeah, the three of you were found in separate cells of this building. And I'm like, first of all, okay, if you're an FBI agent, okay, all right, okay, you don't keep them in the same place that they were found.
Locked up and traumatized.
Yeah.
No. Let's go back to the police department.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Or a hospital.
Or,
something. Or something.
The back of an ambulance.
Right?
Anything.
And I'm like, okay. And as a crisis counselor, you should know that.
Yeah.
Like, anyway.
Crisis, emphasis on the crisis
the crisis part.
Yep. The trauma part.
Yep. And she was like, but you guys were all found in a cell in this building, and a call went out for a trauma counselor. And then she kind of like cuts off as she like realizes something and goes rushing out of the room, right?
Okay.
And Tabitha turns to like the mirror that's like, to me, I thought it was a holding cell at a jail. Like,
oh, it has like a 2-way window thing, or a 1-way, I guess.
And like, but they're not at a jail?
He's just very thorough.
He's very thorough in the random building that he's in. So she turns to the mirror and is like trying to look out it, but she can't see anything. But the camera backs up, so we can see that there's a camera recording her inside. Which is, I would think, like, if I was at a police station, that wouldn't be completely weird, you know. But like,
I mean, does it look like a security camera?
No, it is a camera on
like
a tripod.
A camcorder type situation?
Yeah, camcorder on a tripod. Yep. Anyway, she hears her door buzz open. Okay. And so she goes over and pulls it open and starts to sneak out. And this building, okay, Batman's Bat Cave isn't this tall of a ceiling, kind of a thing. Okay, this is the tall, like,
and we're underground.
They're underground.
Okay.
Okay, and I want to know why the trauma counselor thought this is an appropriate place to come into.
Like, did she walk in the front door and not get worried, and then someone led her down into the cells?
I don't know, because the rest of the movie doesn't make sense after this point. I don't know where the
first of the movie didn't
None
make
of it
sense
makes
to
sense.
this point.
But again, this is like, it feels like the catacombs of some like ancient civilization or some
I'm
shit.
going
like,
to build my house on top of these tunnels.
Yeah, like full-blown tunnels and stuff, right?
Okay.
So she's going through these like big, huge, spooky, and like there's like also water at the bottom, so they almost feel like they could have been like a sewage, like underground. Like but they're not, and I'm so confused.
Like you walk in water.
Like there's just like it's water in the middle, like it's like the water pooled to the middle, but it looks stream. Like and I just.
Okay.
Anyway, so she's walking around and she's trying to find her friends and she's calling out to them.
Which she should not do.
Nope. And she keeps walking to find the container on the ground. Oh, the counselor. It says counselor. I need to write better. Anyway, so she finds the counselor on the ground and the FBI agent that was like interrogating her earlier comes up and he goes up to check on her and stuff. And she's like, oh my gosh, what happened? And like goes to run up towards him. But then the FBI agent like slowly lifts the flashlight up that he had and just starts laughing.
Because it's him.
Because it's him, right?
We love cosplay.
Right. And so he's just laughing at her with his creepy teeth. And she's like, oh no, it's you. I don't know who. But she freaks out because.
You're at me and you're dangerous, obviously.
So.
Okay.
Anyway, so she's like, oh, I guess I better just run away now. So she's. Which, I mean, I would probably be pretty freaked the fuck out, too, if I was running up like, hello, FBI agent, help me. And he just starts, I would freak out. So she takes off running again, and she finds herself running into a cage, and then crawls through the cage into an operating room.
What?
Okay, and then, so while in the operating room, she grabs a scalpel, okay, and then he's chasing her the whole time, too, laughing maniacally and stuff.
Sure.
She runs out another door from the operating room and slams it shut and locks it, okay, because she's hoping that would stop him.
That will be enough, yeah.
But then there's like this like long, dark hallway that she's suddenly in, okay, and
the distress you are going through to tell me this story.
I need everyone in the world to watch this movie to have this make sense, okay? Because it doesn't.
Yeah.
First of all, okay, the mechanical engineering that he would need to have to make this happen. Okay. Second of all, the amount of money he would need to have to make this happen. Okay.
Okay.
Third of all, did he do it by himself? Did he build this place in mind?
Did he hire people and they were like,
were the people coming in like, you want us to do what?
How much money are you paying?
Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah.
Like,
we'll do it.
Anyway, so she's walking down this hallway with these gigantic, first of all, okay, a normal window is pretty expensive. Okay?
Yeah.
Gigantic fucking windows on either side of her, okay? Hallway. Like this long. Like, I want to say it's a good wider than this room. Maybe as wide as this room.
Like 12 feet or something. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe 15 feet.
Okay.
I say 15 feet. Of just floor to ceiling, glass, wall to wall.
Okay.
Glass on either side. Okay. They start closing in on her, like scooting towards her.
How?
And she's, I don't know. She tries to
in a fun house now? Circus clown,
yeah.
what? Okay.
And it just, both of them start coming towards her and she's freaking out and pushing against him and like trying to like keep herself from being squished or whatever. And then it stops where she's got like maybe a little wider than shoulder length apart. Okay. Yeah. And it stops and the lights flick on. Okay. And she looks up and she sees Lisa in one window and Shelby in the other. Mm-hmm. And they are strung up just like the mouse was in the box, right? With their arms flayed out and they got their insides all pulled open and they're gagged and they're just like kind of like, help us. And I just spends way too long of just kind of showing this. And the guy walks in, the creepy guy, comes through the door. They refer to him as the Laugh. Okay. You never get to know his name. He's
like
just,
in the credits?
Yeah, he's just the Laugh.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, you couldn't even name it like Jason or something.
Joe.
Like Joe something. So he walks in on the other side and I think he goes up to Shelby and he's got this knife with him and stuff and he's not saying anything and Tabitha is just kind of like staring at him back, right? Just She doesn't know what's going on. But then she's just like, leave them alone. Leave my friends alone, please. Like, you need to let us go and all this stuff. And he goes up to Shelby with the knife and he just kind of starts like running it along her insides. And she's like, stop it. Leave her alone. Like, don't, whatever you're doing, right? And he turns to her and he goes, it's funny, right?
Oh boy.
And
that's when it clicks.
Yeah. But then he reaches up, grabs the front of Shelby's shirt and rips these, like, organ clothing off of her. And she's now just left there in, like, a skin color tank top.
So we are in a fun house.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, everything that was just fake, I guess.
Don't want to actually murder her.
Right? And Tabitha is like, what the fuck? Kind of a look, you know? And he's, like, kind of laughing, and he lifts up Shelby's shirt a little bit to show her stomach.
Oh, no.
And he's got the knife, and he's about to run it into her. And so Tabitha starts giggling, right? Kind of like a... Okay, that's actually kind of a funny kind of a, laugh. And he looks back at her and is like, oh, you
laughed.
Get it, right? Like, you get it. And so he goes over, and I want to know where this came from, because he now is able to slide the glass open.
What?
Like, it's a sliding glass door. Anyway, so he slides it open, and they're just, like, staring into each other's eyes, giggling and stuff, right? Because she's just like, this is actually really
Please
funny.
Let me out.
Yeah, like, I get it now. And he's just like, yeah, you get it. It's funny. And
oh my
like,
gosh.
oh my gosh.
Anything to survive, I guess.
Yep. And she jams the scalpel into his neck. Good girl, right? Except he also had a knife.
Yeah.
I would not have stopped there.
No.
Okay, I would have taken that knife from him because he's now injured, and I would have just right? But
keep going until he can't go no more.
Yep. I'm just saying, double tap is a thing. So he, like, is, like, yanking the scalpel out of his neck. But, like, so she runs over and she frees Shelby, and then they run, I don't know how they get to the other side, but they go and they free... they go to free Lisa, and Lisa goes to rush out. She's like, this way, guys! Goes to rush out, and she gets stabbed by the Laugh, right? Because he has his knife still, and gets up and just stabs her, right? And so they're freaking out for, like, not even half a second. Okay, they're just like, oh my gosh, and keep going. They're not even like, Lisa, no! Like,
They leave her there?
They leave her there because she's been stabbed. Because she did now, obviously. Don't you know? Like, one
not
stab,
even
you
worth
did.
it. We're not friends anymore.
Right? Because he got stabbed. He did.
Obviously.
Right?
Yeah.
So one stab you did, right? So they're running down the hallway again. And they just keep running for a little while. And then they find a ladder that just goes up. So they start climbing up. And it is Tabitha and then Shelby. And Shelby's like, go! Just go! Let's get over here! Let's go! And he comes running up behind them, obviously. And he grabs Shelby and pulls her down because he's like desperately climbing up after them, but he grabs her by the leg and like yanks her down, so she falls to her death and is now dead.
Oh.
And Tabitha seemed like a little upset at that, but kept climbing because obviously he's right behind you, you know?
You can't really mourn yet.
He had pulled Shelby down and he fell down with her.
Okay.
Yeah, but Tabitha keeps climbing, and so she gets up and she sits, or like she pushes this grate up, okay, and gets out and she sits down and she's like, oh my gosh,
no,
oh my gosh, and then closes the grate, and it's like, okay,
and also keep going.
Yeah, where am I? And so she starts looking around and she realizes she's in this like farmhouse with a fenced in, like chicken wire fenced in area that she's inside of.
What?
You have to watch the movie. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't wanna.
I know. But yeah, it's like a super gross old house. And then she hears an elevator starting to whirl up. And she looks over and there's like this spot for an elevator. And she's freaking out because she's like, what do I do now? Right? And she manages to get through a door, like into a shed-like thing. Anyway, so she gets through this door into what she assumed was a shed, and it's got other things from the movie. It's got the clown mask, and it's got the blades and stuff. So she's there, and she's freaking out, and she has or she's kind of looking around for a second. She turns around, and the laughing guy closes a door on top of her, but like pulls it down from the top. Okay. And then she's still like hearing him laughing, and like she can hear him moving around on the outside, and then she hears an engine start up.
Oh, so she's like in the back of a U-Haul.
She's in the back of like a U-Haul kind of truck. And he starts driving away and laughing maniacally. Just ha 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 ha, right? And then the truck stalls. And he's like, oh, right, gets out to go fix the truck kind of a thing. And that's when she finds the 3-pronged blade thingy, right?
Oh, good.
And so she picks it up and she's standing there. Oh, and there's a little fucking peephole in it. Right, in the back of the truck, because it's just like the diorama box thingy that he made.
Oh my god.
Right? Okay. And he had like looked at her and was like laughing at her originally in it. And so he goes to start the truck again or whatever, and then gets back inside. He gets the truck started again, and he goes back to like look at her through the peephole, and she shoves the blades through.
So like just an open hole?
No, it's just this like little peephole that he keeps like flipping a thing for, but she shoves it through the bed of the truck into his face and kills him. Okay. And then yanks it back out. And it's like covered in blood, and she hears his body like thump to the ground. And she goes, now that was funny.
I just got like cringy goosebumps.
Right? Anyway, so she gets out of the bed of the truck somehow. And gets into the driver's seat and starts to drive away.
And it's a good thing he fixed the engine?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then her voiceover comes on as she's driving away. And the thing, again, that I want you to, like, understand here, as she's driving away, she's in, like, a now farmhouse. And as far as you can see, it's just open land with some trees.
So how did they get there?
From the fucking catacombs they were in.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Unless, like, he somehow trapped them in the first house and moved them to the farmhouse that also has
catacombs
all
beneath
of these
it?
Things. Because the first one, we don't know that the first one did.
No.
We just assume that it is the same place. Is it the farmhouse from the first of the movie?
I don't know. I can't tell. I don't think it was, though.
What?
I don't know. Anyway, so her voiceover goes on, and she's like, for Shelby, Lisa, and I, it was a joke that crossed a line. We made fun of him, and after he was sent away, we forgot about him. But he never forgot us. Even though I was the one to survive, I can't bring Lisa or Shelby back, and I can't get his laughter out of my head. Okay. And that's how it ends, okay? But then, oh man, this like fucking...
You see this goosebumps?
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I get that people be crazy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
But I also feel like that's the most like incel shit I've ever heard in my life. I just want to know how they thought up this movie. Like all of the elements and the planning that doesn't make sense.
With just all the extras.
Yeah.
Like the extra nonsense kind of a thing. It's not him manipulating a situation. It's him like, okay, I just happened to be at the right place at the right time.
I'm gonna set up this random situation and hope that they end up here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So the only one that kind of makes sense is Tabitha.
Yeah. Because he went to where she was going to be.
Yep.
And he set all of that up.
Yep.
And just hoped that she ran to the shed.
Yep.
I guess. Okay.
I don't understand why he had to be the boyfriend at the door. I don't understand why he had to be the mustache dad. I mean, I guess mustache makes you less assuming kind of a thing, but also not. And it makes absolutely no sense how he was the mad scientist and the deaf guy.
No. Also, the boyfriend and the clown.
Yep.
No sense.
Because that was full-blown makeup he was wearing.
Yeah.
Full-blown. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, no wonder it doesn't have a very good score, because what the actual fuck?
Yep, I have no idea.
Why is he not in a mental hospital?
I don't know. I don't know how he got out of a mental hospital. Because clearly, he should have been in a mental hospital.
Yeah. And if the trauma counselor... Okay, so if we're on the train of these catacombs are underneath the farmhouse, let's say, the trauma counselor didn't think that was also weird? Nope. That she went out to a farmhouse that has... catacombs? Cells?
Yeah.
And whatever the fuck underneath?
And only one FBI agent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the rest of it's empty? Except for these girls who are... What?
I don't know.
I
think they had a concept and they were like, just don't think too hard about it.
We're just gonna do it, okay?
It's just gonna be fun, okay?
Okay. I have no idea what this guy looks like, but have you ever seen Charlie's Angels 2? Where the guy, rips out their hair and sniffs it? No. Does that mean anything to you? No. Oh, that's what I pictured.
But
so it's the dad from Back to the Future as a creepy guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I picture, because I don't know what he looks like. He's really weird. He will drive by on a motorcycle and rip out a lock of your hair and then smell it. If I remember right. I think that's what he does. But yeah, just the whole concept of you were... It's not even that they bullied him. They just didn't laugh at his joke. That's not a fucking joke.
No.
You're a psycho.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the worst thing is that he's not even the worst looking guy.
He looks familiar.
Yeah. But
he's cute.
Yeah, but
That's what I was picturing.
Oh, but when he is the guy from from this movie,
he's in character.
He's in character. He's got these really gross teeth.
There's him with some hair.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's okay. Don't think I like that. But, I mean, he did a good job. I felt like he did a decent job being a weird, creepy guy.
Yeah. But the whole rest of the movie makes no sense.
No sense.
Why couldn't they just take, the most basic form of that story?
Right.
That would have been a fine, scary movie.
Yeah, I don't know why they had to make it so convoluted with this fucking other random house. What if she decided not to go? What if she literally just called the police and was like, I think my, friend is missing. Yeah.
Yeah. Then what?
I don't know.
He doesn't answer the door because they're full and the cops don't go in and
Yeah. Straight up though, because all you would have to do is call the police and be like, hey, my roommate didn't come home last night. She went out with this guy that she doesn't know. I know where he's staying. It's at this place.
Also, is he actually renting out this house to people?
I don't know.
That's a big ruse.
I know, and it kind of would have made a little bit of sense to me if it was him being the guy that talked her into be like, oh yeah, this is where I'm staying. You should come see me at my place.
But it very obviously was not.
It was not him.
Yeah, because I thought about that too.
Yeah.
But that's why I was like, so he just so happened to be a guy who was staying here that she's like, hey, go with this guy?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know.
That's a lot of happenstance.
That's a lot of... What if the roommate was absolutely like, nope, fuck it, let's go home?
Yeah. Then he would have to think up some other convoluted
He's sitting
garbage.
off to the side like, damn it.
Go call him. Get his number.
I know, what would he do? Just well, I need the health department to come here, and I specifically want this boyfriend to come over. And
what happened to that guy that was at the club? He's sewn into a bed somewhere?
Probably. He clearly doesn't care about anybody else. He killed the babysitter.
Yeah.
I don't know what he did with the crazy girl from the beginning of the movie that jumped out of the truck. I don't know what happened to her.
She died. She hit a fucking windshield and she dead.
It's just so convoluted.
Yeah. It's he took those, 12 years or whatever to be like, how many fucking weird situations and how much construction and how much debt can I rack up?
Just to get back at these 3 fucking girls for not thinking that a thing I did was funny.
Yeah. And then not slice open their stomachs. Right. What are you doing?
I don't know. And
take the opportunity.
I know. The thing to me, though, that is, he wants to blame them for him getting sent away to a mental hospital when he was going to turn in that box to a teacher who would have absolutely called, the police.
Yeah. Yeah. Be like, Mrs. Hello, your son is
torturing
nuts.
Animals.
He's a sociopath.
So.
Okay.
Yep. So there's that movie.
Okay. Well, how do you rate
This is probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
Like, it's not even a fun ride. Like,
it's just a what the fuck?
It's just a what the fuck. Like, every time I watch it, I just think, how? How?
What are we doing, you guys?
How are we doing this? Like,
okay. So is that like a 1?
So 1.
-1.
But I also need everyone to see it to know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense. None of the floor plans of anything make any sense.
I want you to like draw blueprints at one of these. Then just be like, this is what it looks like in the movie. How does that make sense? Yeah. It doesn't.
It doesn't.
That'd be so great.
Yep.
Well, where can they watch it if they
Amazon
want to?
Prime.
Oh, do they have to pay for it?
I don't remember. Okay. I think so.
That's a shame.
Yep.
$4,
it's only a couple bucks,
you know, whatever.
It might be free if you have Prime. I don't remember.
Okay. But. Well, that was a ride.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to sum that up.
This is one I would tell you to go find somewhere online. For free. Yeah.
Go on Tubi.
Yeah.
Go on, what's the other one? Like Voodoo or something?
Is it on Tubi?
I don't know. Look it up. It's somewhere.
You know. Anyway.
I don't know.
You don't know the movie.
I don't know, y'all.
I guess this is how we're ending it.
Yeah. Let us know if any of that made sense to you. If you've seen the movie,
if you've seen it,
explain it. That'd be great. Just send us a long ass email being like, you guys are dumb. Because I'll take an explanation if it means we're dumb.
Oh, please explain it to me.
Yeah. You can do that if you want to by emailing us at bmoviebashpodcast@gmail.com. Also, we're on YouTube and Spotify and Stitcher and Google and Apple Podcasts and a few other random ones, but you can find that all on our Anchor. Yeah. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
Follow.
Please.
Comments.
Yeah.
Do the stuff.
Yeah.
We love you.
And have a good time.
Have a good time.
Bye-bye.